You know exactly what needs to be done. You feel it pulling at you every single day, but you still don't do it. Time slips by, opportunities vanish, and you wait for motivation. But what if that wait is the very trap that's killing your momentum? Here's the truth. Motivation doesn't come before action, it follows it. And the longer you wait to feel ready, the further you drift from who you're meant to become. Today, I'll show you how to reverse that mental equation. How to destroy in action, force momentum, and train your mind to execute even when your body resists, even when your emotions scream not today. You'll learn how the unstoppable act when no one's watching and how you can too, if you're ready to break the invisible cycle that's been holding you back. And turn action into your new identity, then subscribe now because what you'll discover here might change everything. Most people believe they need clarity before they act, that they must know how before they move. This is a lie dressed as logic. The truth is the opposite. Clarity is born through motion. Nothing reveals the path like the first committed step into the unknown. You don't think your way into certainty. You act your way into it. Every movement uncovers hidden variables that thinking alone can never expose. Perfectionism is a disguise for fear, and the perfect moment is the graveyard of execution. The brain craves safety. But greatness demands movement in uncertainty. Action reorganizes attention, and focus under motion has power. While others spiral in hesitation, the decisive gain momentum and clarity follows. That's why visionaries create in the chaos. They know imperfect action is not failure, it's feedback. Thomas Edison didn't wait for brilliance. He moved, he failed, he learned. Each step gave him data. Each failure refined the formula, still waiting to feel ready. You won't. Readiness is a reward, not a requirement. Start before you're sure. Begin while others plan. And clarity will chase you like a shadow. So ask yourself, how many of your greatest ideas have already died because you waited? Now move, one step, one motion, because action beats brilliance every single time. Fear isn't weakness, it's raw energy looking for direction. It evolved to protect us, to keep us alert in the face of real danger. But in the modern world, most fear isn't about survival, it's about perception. And when you don't train it, fear becomes a parasite. Feeding on your potential, fear magnifies what's unknown. It fills the silence with worst-case scenarios. The longer you hesitate, the louder it gets, not because the threat grows, but because your mind amplifies the unknown. That hesitation becomes a loop, and inaction turns fear into fiction that feels real. High performers don't kill fear. They convert it. They act while afraid. They understand fear is just misplaced focus, a mental lens zoomed in on failure. The shift is simple but radical. Move the focus to execution. The fear won't disappear, but it loses its grip every time you take a step toward what scares you. Your brain rewrites the signal. What was once terror becomes tension. What was once tension becomes challenge. And with repetition, that challenge becomes fuel, pure adrenaline for disciplined action. Think of fear like cold water. Dip a toe and you'll shiver. Stand on the edge and it feels unbearable. But jump in fully and your body adapts. The discomfort was real but temporary. Action dissolved it. So the question isn't, how do I eliminate fear? The question is, what will I build with it? Fear is energy. Energy needs movement. If you don't direct it, it will destroy you. But once you do, that same fear becomes firepower. Procrastination isn't laziness, it's a learned pattern of avoidance. It's your brain choosing momentary comfort over long-term consequence. Each time you delay action, you reinforce that neurological pathway. The more you repeat it, the more automatic it becomes. The root of procrastination is emotional, not logical. You're not avoiding the task, you're avoiding the feeling tied to the task. Discomfort, fear, uncertainty. Your mind protects you from that emotion by choosing distraction. And in doing so, it hijacks your focus and your future. That's why planning doesn't cure procrastination. You don't need better to-do lists, you need a better response to resistance. The solution isn't more organization, it's more confrontation. Face what you're avoiding and move toward it immediately. Pattern interruption is the first. Breakthrough. Use the 5-minute rule. Commit to just 5 minutes of execution. This bypasses the emotional wall and triggers momentum. Once in motion, resistance collapses. You're no longer trapped in thought, you're engaged in process. Don't wait to feel ready. That feeling is a mirage that moves further as you chase it. Procrastination thrives on passive thinking, destroy it with active doing. One imperfect action executed now has more value than 50 perfect ideas left idle. Your future is shaped by what you begin, not by what you intend. Ask yourself, how many dreams are you postponing for later, a later that never comes? Break the loop, disrupt the cycle. Start before you negotiate with your excuses. Because if you don't control your pattern, it will control your life. And comfort is a liar that will cost you everything. Discipline isn't talent, it's not willpower gifted to a few. It's a muscle, and like any muscle, it grows through repetition under resistance. The more you do what's hard when you don't feel like it, the stronger you become. Every act of follow through wires a new identity. Someone who follows through, most people wait to feel disciplined. That's backwards. Discipline isn't an emotion, it's a decision, repeated until it becomes instinct. It's forged in friction, in the choice to rise when it's easier to sleep. You don't get disciplined and then act. You act and become disciplined. Comfort is the enemy of growth. The brain wants predictability, ease, escape. Discipline is your rebellion. It's the moment you interrupt comfort to install control. And the cost of comfort is always the same. Your potential slowly bleeding out. The fastest way to build discipline is to shrink the negotiation window. Don't argue with the alarm, stand up. Don't ponder the workout move. By reducing mental friction, you reduce failure points. Discipline thrives on simplicity. You do it or you don't. Track every win. Celebrate micro consistency. Showing up even briefly sends a message to your subconscious. I am dependable. That internal trust is the foundation of power, because the more you trust yourself to follow through, the less motivation you need. So ask yourself, what if I became the kind of person who does what's needed no matter how I feel? That's discipline. And once trained, it will do more for your future than any spark of fleeting motivation ever could. Pain is not the enemy, it's a signal. It tells you where the weakness is, where the growth needs to happen. Most run from it, numb it, avoid it, but the elite, they harness it. They convert pain into propulsion. Pain awakens. It strips away illusion. When everything's easy, mediocrity hides in comfort. But pain exposes the truth, your limits, your fears, your excuses. And if you're bold enough to face it, it becomes your mentor. Every struggle holds a lesson, a raw blueprint for evolution. Rejection teaches resilience. Loss reveals values. Failure builds wisdom. Nothing shapes character like suffering willingly endured and consciously examined. Growth doesn't happen in comfort. It happens in resistance. The key is to reframe pain, not as punishment but as a training ground. You're not being broken, you're being built. Pain is pressure applied to your potential, sculpting something stronger. Think of fire. It burns the weak but forges the strong. Steel is only steel because it survived the flame. Likewise, your greatness depends on your ability to endure discomfort without retreating. Not once, consistently. That's where transformation lives. So next time pain shows up, ask, what is it here to teach me? Run, and it will chase you. Face it, and it will elevate you. Your pain has a purpose if you choose to use it. That choice defines everything you become. Clarity is not something you find. It's something you create by deciding. Most people wait for the fog to clear before they act, but decision is the wind that clears the fog. No decision, no direction. No direction, no clarity. Indecision is a silent killer. It breeds hesitation, confusion, and internal conflict. Each time you delay a decision, you surrender power to your circumstances, and that delay compounds. What was once a simple choice becomes a mental battlefield. Decide quickly, adjust slowly. That's how leaders operate. A strong decision simplifies everything. It filters distractions, aligns actions, and ignites movement. The mind stops spinning when the mission becomes singular. With clarity of intent, even chaos becomes manageable. You don't need perfect information to decide. You need a definite outcome and the courage to commit. Most clarity comes after motion, not before. Decide, move, and let feedback shape the path. Every time you choose instead of postpone, you reclaim your future. You send a message to yourself, I'm in charge. That internal leadership becomes self-trust. And trust is the foundation of all momentum. So ask yourself, what decision am I avoiding that would simplify my entire life? Make it. Burn the bridges, claim the direction, because clarity isn't something you wait for, it's something you decide into existence. A weak mind collapses under pressure. An unshakable mind absorbs impact and stays focused. It's not immune to emotion, it's trained to respond instead of react. That training is the difference between progress and paralysis. Mental strength begins with emotional awareness. You don't need to suppress fear, doubt, or frustration, you need to lead them. The untrained mind gets hijacked by every emotional impulse, but the trained mind uses those signals as data, not commands. Every challenge is a mental fork-in. The road, you can break or you can build. The unshakable mind chooses meaning in the chaos, strategy in the setback. It reframes adversity as preparation, not punishment. You train this mind by facing discomfort repeatedly, by refusing to let circumstances dictate your attitude. Each time you override emotion with mission, you install fortitude, and that fortitude compounds into resilience. Your thoughts are the architects of your identity. Let them drift, and they build a cage. Direct them with intention, and they forge a weapon. Mental mastery is not optional, it's foundational. Ask yourself, am I controlling my mind, or is it controlling me? Train it like your life depends on it, because it does. Because when the storm comes, the unshakable don't retreat. They rise with calm, with purpose, and with fire in their eyes. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your environment. Your surroundings either reinforce your discipline or sabotage it silently. Every object, sound, person, and habit around you sends signals to your brain. If you don't control those signals, they will control you. Environment shapes behavior. Faster than intention, you might plan success, but if you're surrounded by noise, distraction, and mediocrity, you'll default. Change becomes harder when your environment anchors the old version of you. To grow, you must design a space that aligns with who you're becoming. Audit your circle. Who challenges you? Who drains you? Energy is contagious. So is doubt, excuse making, and low standards. Surround yourself with people who demand your evolution. If you stay around comfort, you'll shrink to fit it. Build an ecosystem for execution. Silence the noise, remove friction, create visual cues that prompt action. Your workspace should scream clarity. Your schedule should reflect priorities. Your phone, your desk, your rituals, they all cast votes for your future. Proximity matters. Mentorship matters more. Seek those who've walked the path you're trying to build. Let their standards become your new normal, because isolation breeds distortion, but the right environment sharpens vision. Ask yourself, does my environment reflect my ambition or my avoidance? Rebuild it with intention. Cut the noise, add the fire. Because no matter how strong your will is, your environment always wins in the long run. Topic 9. Strategic time management as leverage. Time isn't just passing, it's compounding. Every minute invested with purpose builds momentum. Every minute wasted silently taxes your potential. Your calendar is not just a schedule. It's a scoreboard. People don't lack time, they lack clarity and boundaries. The most successful don't have more hours, they allocate with precision. They say no often, guard focus fiercely, and build structure that protects. Progress, without structure, intention dissolves into distraction. Start by identifying your non-negotiables. Block sacred time for execution, no excuses, no interruptions. Treat it like an unmissable meeting with your future self, if it matters. It lives on the calendar. Batch decisions. Minimize switches, protect deep work. Multitasking is mental sabotage disguised as productivity. Work in sprints, not marathons. Rest deliberately, not accidentally. Time management isn't just about efficiency, it's about energy alignment. Kill the myth of being busy. Activity is not achievement. Busyness without results is disguised avoidance. Track what moves the needle and eliminate what doesn't. Your mission deserves focus, not fragments. Ask yourself, if a stranger followed your schedule for 30 days, would they replicate your goals or your excuses? Master time and you master leverage, because the difference between mediocrity and mastery is often just how you manage an hour. Failure isn't a dead end, it's a directive. It reveals what doesn't work, forcing precision. Most people fear it because they confuse ego bruises with actual loss. But true growth demands friction, not perfection. Every setback carries embedded intelligence. Pain becomes the tuition for mastery if you listen. The most dangerous failures aren't the loud ones, but the ignored patterns. You don't fail. When you fall, you fail when you refuse to decode it. Those who win long-term see failure as feedback. They analyze, they adjust, they evolve. They don't ask why me. They ask what's the lesson here. They extract wisdom from wounds and turn scars into strategy. Detach failure from identity. You are not your mistakes, you are your response to them. Treat every defeat as a data point. Grow through what you go through. Reframe failure as a test of seriousness. Will you recommit with more force or retreat into excuse? The universe doesn't hand transformation to the comfortable. It rewards those who endure, adapt, and persist. Ask yourself, what would I attempt if I no longer feared failing? That question liberates, that perspective expands, because when you see failure as a gift, you stop running from it and start building with it. You've just seen what few dare to face. Your life is not shaped by chance, but by choices. Not by fate, but by focus and failure. It's just feedback for the obsessed. If you internalize this truth, you become dangerous to your doubt, to your limitations, to your past, because the only thing separating you from the life you crave is the decision to act again and again with clarity and courage. If this message hit you like a lightning bolt, that's not random. That's your inner voice screaming it's time to rise. So don't ignore that fire. Feed it, honor it. Subscribe now and take your place among those who choose power over excuse. Now breathe deep and ask yourself, who do I become when I stop apologizing for my intensity and start weaponizing it? If that question shook you, go to the comments and write, I command my destiny. And share this video with someone who's been silent for too long, someone who forgot the warrior they really are. Share it with someone who needs to reclaim their fire. You're not broken, you're just buried. And now that you've unearthed the truth, there's no turning back. Go build the life that proves you woke up.